Hello everyone, and welcome to another cast of the NeoGaf North American StarCraft 2 tournament. This is yet another round 1 game between maritalwheat as the blue Terran and water as the green Protoss. It's just another Terran versus Protoss because I don't really think anyone else but me plays Zerg in this tournament. So yeah, probably look for a lot of apologies in round 2. People making sure that they know that their races are overpowered. Poor little Zerg just has it so bad. I know. But don't worry, I'm going to win the tournament anyway, so it won't make much of a difference. Oh, a bit of a frame kill there. Marshall throwing down a supply depot at his ramp. Water opting for a more SimCity build. Map like this, usually don't expect any strong rushes from a Terran player. Even with the more mobile bio balls, they can't really get around this long bend all that quickly. So at the very, very worst, you just have to keep an eye on these rocks, make sure they're not doing anything crazy, or watching for a very, very fast starport build due to these fairly short air distances. But Marshall is just throwing down his barracks on 12. So it's not really aiming for an econ build. Following it up with his refinery. Water, on the other hand, has opted for a slightly later gateway on 13 and now a simulator on 15. He spent one chrono boost, presumably on his economy, but he's currently saving the next one. Maritalwheat finishes his refinery, throwing down another supply depot. Looks like he's just going to try to wall off. So we might be trying to tech up quickly, get out a fast Banshee, or maybe even like a fast Viking, just land it here, take a few shots, run away. Try to catch a Protoss down here, trying to protect like his natural and his main engines at the same time. So not Protoss forces will normally be in this lower area. Probe showing up. Supply depot going unfinished. The SAV had been attacked. That's one thing I really dislike about probes these days, because you can just come up here, pick a fight with an SCV or a drone on the line, deal a bit of damage, and then just, walk away, let a shield regenerate, come back. The SCV is still on half-life. The drone has recovered maybe 2 HP points. SCVs at least can repair themselves, so they at least have that up. But as a drone, if you see a probe attacking you, you pretty much have to kill it. You don't have a choice. So it'll just keep sniping you bit by bit. Can't even surround it because it'll take a shot, click on the minerals, get into a hovering state, and just completely walk right through your surround. And you're pretty much stuck trying to deal with it until you get either your queen or a pair of Zerglings out. And I really shouldn't have told you guys that, because I really don't like it when Protoss do that to me. Marshall opting for a second gas early, adding on a reactor to his barracks. Oh, and building a second barracks. But he's leaving his supply depot down, so if water were to bring his probe back in, he'll see the second barracks and know that he's most likely facing a bio build with a marine focus, and wouldn't have to worry about a faster Banshee or heavier mech play. Water, on the other hand, is just sticking with 3 gates, chrono boosting in his warp gates. I'd like to see him get that scout in just so that he can know that he can skip Immortals, not have to worry about running into tanks or even Hellions necessarily. Whew, maritalwheat building up a lot of money in the bank, only now throwing down his factory and adding on a tech lab. But with the money he had on hand, he could have thrown down, well, he should now throw down an extra supply depot. But he could have been building this factory while this second barracks came in, and it would not have significantly affected his marine production out of this reactor barracks. Tech lab up, no immediate upgrades. Command center is being morphed into the orbital command. Factory's about done. Slowly approaching a supply block. Got a marine doing a little bit of scouting, and a probe hiding in the corner here, probably looking to drop down the pylon for some warp gate shenanigans, since water has opted for a 4-gate with a robotics. Still food fairly even, income fairly even. Martial wheat does have a slight SCV disadvantage, but once his orbital command is up and operational with mules, the income rate will be more or less the same. A couple sentries being added on, which will be fairly effective against this reactor build. Tech lab on the factory, but no siege tanks building and no siege tech researching. Concussive shell has gone down, but he is now supply blocked. Adding on an engineering bay and a missile turret, which is somewhat odd in this matchup since Protoss does not commonly go air against Terran. It is possible against like early tank mech play. You might see a few phoenixes. You see the odd void ray every now and then, but since he has a reactor built here with a good number of Marines, he shouldn't really have to worry about air. Protoss is moving out. Pylon's still not down, but you can wait for that. Robotics not building anything, but we do have an observer down here, which was just scanned by maritalwheat, so it must have seen either a shadow or just that little blur when it's moving around. But the observer did see this factory with the tech lab. Probably can expect some tanks, even though Marshall is not currently building any. He has the money, and he now has the supply, and I hope he's building an extra supply depot somewhere. He's going to max himself out again. No, he's opting for a missile turret. And his starboard is just about finished. Marines and Marauders coming in. It looks like Water's just going to push now. Not opting for his expand while he is pushing. He should have really thrown this down, especially seeing the amount of money he has on hand. He could throw down this expand pretty much very, very easily and still have a lot of cash left over for reinforcing with his forward pylon. But it looks like that won't really be an issue as he's managed to push through this wall. The supply depot was never raised, although Water did snipe this initial supply depot. Perhaps sensing that Marshal Wheat is dangerously close to being undersupply, Water target fire all these supply depots, not just to get his forces in, but just to limit the amount of units that Marshal Wheat could bring to bear. Though really at this point there wasn't much he could have done. Oddly enough, he added a reactor to the starport, perhaps thinking of just throwing down some medevacs and doing some drops. But Marshal Wheat realized he's in a bad way. GG's out. Water just targeting command centers, getting all these guys. Marshall had a lot of cash on hand. 1,300 minerals and almost 900 gas. He had the money for an army. He could have had these tanks out a lot sooner. He did have the tank research, but he kept getting blocked by supply. Really, he should have just queued up like 3 or 4 supply depots and, well, stuck on these 2 barracks. I think that was okay, but just gotten a few tanks out. And even if the tanks might not have actually beaten this kind of force, just the threat of a siege tank can push back a Protoss player. Marshal Wheat's stating that he was focused on teching up. He did have a bit of a tech advantage over Water, but he still did have cash to build up an army. Water's expand going down, but obviously the game is over. Marshall already GG'ing. Water pointing out that Marshal Wheat had scouted out Marital Wheat, not Marshall. Well, I've been calling him Marshall this entire game. He's Marital Wheat. Pointing out that he should have expected an attack from the 4-gate pressure. That's true. If you see 4 gates, they're pretty much always going to be pushing you. The problem I have is that Protoss will throw down 2-gate, and as a Zerg player myself, I pretty much have to go maximum defense when I see 2-gate. And then they just build 1 Zealot and tech into whatever they want. So yeah, I don't like that. But 4-gate, expect pressure, build to expect pressure. Water now queuing up probes like a scrub. Very, very unfortunate. That's probably going to cost him the game and the series. So Marital Wheat moves on. I'm just kidding. Water wins this, which is the third game of his set. So he will move on to fight Mr. Vic's Vapor Rack, So that should be an interesting match since they're both fairly skilled players, both Protoss. So should see a lot of 4 gates there. Vapor Rack does Phoenix play every now and then, I think. Only seen him play a few times in Far Shot. But this will be game. It was game when maritalwheat cheated a while back, but just had more things to say. Hope everyone enjoyed the replay. Thank you, maritalwheat, for coming out and taking part in the tournament. Hope to see you again in the future, either playing casuals or playing in future tournaments. Congratulations to Water for moving on to the second round. Best of luck, and hope you enjoyed watching this replay.